So I'm just about finished with this mower deck, getting it back together. It's got all brand new pulleys on it, new bearings in the hub assemblies or spindle assemblies. The blades are pretty new. I didn't have to buy new blades, but I did have to sharpen them. I said I would show people how to disassemble and reassemble these hub assemblies. So I'm going to do that right quick. I'm not going to actually take it apart and put it back together. Just going to try to explain how to take this thing apart, because I don't really have any way to hold this camera and do this at one time. So this assembly is already put back together. Basically, what you do to take this thing apart is, of course, you take the bolts out of the mower deck that hold the spindle in place, and you take the blade off, and you'll end up with this, okay? And you'll have this spacer on here, and then you'll have this nut on top like this, right? So basically, what you do is you take this hub and you set it in a vise like so, and then you hit this top nut. Make sure you have the nut on flush with the threads like this, screwed all the way down, and then take you a hammer, brass hammer preferably, and try to drive out the spindle shaft, the hub assembly shaft, and you'll knock this thing loose, and then you'll just unscrew the nut like so, and it should be really simple. You know what, I'll just go ahead and knock this one out right quick. Really simple to just like that, okay? It's really simple, and that's what you end up with. And you have to drive the bearings out from the inside. That's really simple also. There is a spacer in between the two bearings. This is the space that goes in between the two bearings inside the hub assembly. And that's going to be lined up with the inside race. You can see how it's moved over to one side a little bit there. See inside the, it's kind of hard to focus, but if you can come on, focus. It's kind of hard there. You can see it. See it moving around in there? Okay, that's going to be pushed over, and then you take your brass punch and you put it on the inside race right here. This is the inside race of the bearing. Let me show you. It's easier to see right here. Okay, this is the inside race of the bearing right here. This is the outside race of the bearing. Driving these bearings out, the old bearings out, you're going to want to like hit it right here, and then drive the bearing. Hit a little bit on this side, move that spacer over, hit a little bit on this side, and drive the bearing out. It's really simple to do. And then when you get the bearings out, you end up with this. You're going to want to clean this hub assembly where the bearing goes as much as possible before you put the new bearing back in there. And to put the new bearing in there, it's always best to use you can use a seal driver or anything like that to put these bearings back in there. This is a heavy duty bushing driver, and you can use that whatever you need to push the bearing back in there or drive the bearing back in there. You're going to want to, some people actually use a socket to do this. I like to use something the same size as the bearing, something that's going to distribute the impact of your driving to the outside part of the race, okay, of the bearing. You never want to drive a new bearing in with the inside race, because you can damage the needle bearings in here, or the roller bearings inside the bearing itself. So be careful with that. It's really simple to do. Just make sure that when you drive this thing back in, that you're distributing the impact of your driving to the outside race. Okay. This is a sealed bearing. This is an unsealed bearing. This is the bearing that came out of the hub assembly. And this bearing, you're supposed to apply grease. Okay. That's not actually sealed. That's actually paint. But there's supposed to be a grease zert in these spindle assemblies right here, hub assemblies. And of course, these don't have one from the factory. I would have to drill this thing out and put a grease zert in right here so that I could pump grease into these assemblies. But I'm not going to do that. I bought sealed bearings, and they should be good to go, man. I shouldn't have any problem with these bearings for, you know, I would say at least 8 or 10 years. Shouldn't have any problems. I mean, the unsealed bearings lasted 8 years, so these bearings should last longer. They're quality bearings. They are SKF bearings. That's all the guy had. So, and again, this is for an L130 John Deere 48-inch mower deck, made in Italy. So that's basically about it, guys. Another thing that I did is, instead of using the old bolts, or the old type of bolts that actually screw in to the deck like this, I bought all stainless nuts and bolts and washers. And then I'm going to drill out the threads on the subassembly where I can just stick this bolt through like so, and then put the washer and the nut on top of it. It's stainless. I'll never have to worry about it again. And that's basically about it. I'm just about done with this thing. I didn't work on it the last few days. I wasn't feeling real well, so I just kind of took it easy. I do still have a few things to do. I've got to fix this leveler or roller stabilizer, whatever you want to call it. It got all twisted and bent up when I was trying to mow the ditch. So I've got to fix that, and that's it. And then it will go back on, and will hopefully stay on my lawnmower for the next 10 years. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to get 10 years out of it. I think I will. Of course, I may have to replace a bearing here or there, but I may have to replace the blade. Well, I know I'm going to have to replace the blades. I think that's the third time I put blades on it in 8 years. But I mow as little as possible. I don't like mow every week. I mow when the grass starts getting really, really thick, because it's hard for me to ride around that lawnmower. It really affects my back, bouncing around that stupid lawnmower. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So that's about all I got, guys. If this helps somebody, I am ecstatic. I'm hoping that people start doing things for themselves instead of paying somebody else to do it, or just buying a new one. You know, a lot of people would look at this and just say, well, I just need a new lawnmower. But for those of us who can't afford to go buy a $3,000 lawnmower every 6 or 7 years, 8 years, we do stuff like this to keep this thing going. So there's probably going to be some other stuff I'll do to that lawnmower. I'm going to split the transmission case on that thing. It's got a, what the heck is the name of it? It's hydrostatic transmission. And it's really not serviceable unless you split the cases. You know, take the transmission case apart, which I'm going to do, because I'm a stickler when it comes to doing maintenance on anything that I own. So that's something I'm going to be looking at doing this winter when I'm not mowing anymore. I'm going to have to mow probably one more time, and then I'm done for the winter. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to pull the electric clutch off that thing and replace the bearings in the clutch. And then, you know, I shouldn't have to do anything to that lawnmower for at least 8 or 10 years. So anything serious. So I guess that's all I got, guys. If you have any questions at all, just let me, you know, if I missed anything, just let me know. I do try to use a never sees. I like the copper never sees. When I'm putting this thing back together, I'll put some on the shaft, on the spindle shaft, and the bolts. When you put the blades back on and off, I like to use some never sees on the bolts and stuff, so I don't have that much of a problem taking them back off. And that's about it. That's about all there is to it, guys. I guess if you have any questions, just give me a call, or don't give me a call, but just hit me up on my YouTube account there, and I'll be happy to help you if I can. That's all I got. Peace. I'm out of here.